What's good, fam? Welcome to another episode of Hanging with the Boys. This week, I got my boy, Hater Dave, in town.
What's up, guys? Good to be here. Glad I could fill in as Mike for the stunt cock when needed. So,
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think Mace's New Year resolution was to not be on the podcast. I don't know what happened.
Funny. Yeah, I gave him some shit last week. I was like, dude, where's the pod? He's like, just didn't happen.
So it might be a kind of a shorter episode, but I definitely wanted to put one out there. Being the second week of January, we could talk about New Year's and stuff like that. How you been?
Good. Everything's great. I mean, I'm pretty sure, unconfirmed, but pretty sure my family got COVID on Christmas. It was pretty brutal. Like, I thought I just had the flu, and then it just got prolonged, and now we're since Christmas, and what is today, the January 10th? I'm 11th. Like, just this week, I was like, oh, I finally kind of clear-headed. I don't know what it was, but it like kind of came in waves and phases. And then my wife has the same thing, but hers like started the same day as mine, and she got better real quick, and now all of a sudden she's sick. So we're like, we don't know what the hell's going on. But other than that, everything's great.
So you guys were sick for Christmas and New Year's, basically.
Yeah. And you know that we've been trying to come over for like 2 weekends. And it's like, we're still not good, man. But I'm feeling pretty good now. So
hey, and then during the holidays, sometimes it's just better to stay home. It's a lot of crazies out there and stuff like that. So
it was nice. It was nice to just chill at the house. Like no one came over. I was like, well, that's all right.
Okay, so we're second week of January.
Yep.
There's a lot of you guys out there that probably already have abandoned your New Year's resolutions. Did you have any?
No. I got like this internal struggle where I don't want to commit to anything. Nah, that sounds bad, but I don't want to make my commitment on New Year's because of like the negative connotation of how many people don't follow through on it.
Yeah.
I think I was just looking at some stats recently, and I think it's something like 76% of people that commit to a New Year's resolution by the end of the year are no longer committed to that. So it's a pretty high failure rate.
Yeah.
I did start like a little kind of like, I'll call it an eating habit because I'm not going to do it permanently, but I did start like I guess we'll call it a diet. I think on January 3rd. Okay. I meant to start it the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, if I'm going to start it, there's no need to wait. We'll just enjoy our Christmas and then we'll go. And then we got sick. And I was like, well, all right. So,
well, I think that's a good point you bring up. I think starting something before when you're supposed to might help you because so imagine, like you're a smoker and you're like, all right, January 1st is the day I quit.
Right.
And then the 31st for New Year's, you're smoking like 12 packs because you're going to give it up.
Right.
And then you go in raw dog and it's super hard and you fall off. So like maybe you start like in December instead and say like, hey, I'm going to start weaning myself off.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to the first, you're like already kind of like normal to it.
Right.
And then I think that's how you can do it. So that's a little secret there.
Yeah. So I've always been kind of like, I shy away from New Year's resolutions just because I'm like, well, if I feel like it's a problem, let's not wait till New Year's. Let's just do it. And then, if not, then who cares? I won't commit to anything.
Yeah. It's hard for me to like think of a resolution that I just want to do, but like I was thinking I kind of want to bowl like a 300. But that's not really like a resolution.
That's out of nowhere. Yeah.
That's just
that's like your goal for the year.
Yeah. Goal for the year.
Bowl. Like I've seen you bowl twice, I think.
Yeah.
In how many years?
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. I know I can go and if I went like every single week or maybe twice a week or something.
Yeah.
And like just got for like 3 months, I bet you I can kind of get up there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think so. You got your own ball. So I know you're probably decent at one time.
Yeah. So that was something I was thinking about, but then I'm like, but am I really going to go to the bowling alley by myself?
Yeah, probably not. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
That's funny. So we got just a little bit of snow last night. I'm looking at your roof here in the studio.
Dude, we got like almost a foot.
I was going to say, what's weird is that, I actually live out in Dayton and it's like all the weather kind of just goes around Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
And last year and this year, so far this year, we got a ton of snow out there. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I had to hire the neighborhood kid to come shovel my driveway.
Nice. No, I was out there shoveling, making a little ramp for the boys.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it was kind of surprising. I think they were estimating like 2 inches or something. They're like, yeah, we'll stop by like midnight.
Yeah, I got some, I don't know. I got some, I saw something that said, yeah, storm's coming, whatever. And then all of a sudden, just before it happened, they're like, oh, by the way, this is going to last for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it dumped pretty good. So I wonder other places in the Midwest here or Midwest, if they got hit hard too.
I think like up in Reno and stuff, it's about the same. I got
Yeah.
a couple friends up there, and they're like, "Nah, it's about I'd expect them to see like a foot or something." But
Yeah. So one thing I have been doing, I've been working on the website, so you guys could go over to daboyspod.com and check it out. I'll have some more cool stuff going on there, but just started building that, so it's up. You guys could check it out. You can listen to the podcast there if you want, or just listen to Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all that kind of stuff.
I actually just watched YouTube, like the podcast on YouTube, I think 3 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
I never watched it on YouTube just because I'm always driving or something. So it's always been Spotify or iTunes podcast, whatever it is. And so I was like, I'll check it out on YouTube. It was kind of cool. I mean, it was nice. I don't know if you subscribe to YouTube Premium.
No.
One of the cool things about that, not that I'm selling anything on YouTube Premium, but if you pay for it, I watch a shitload of YouTube. So like, I don't want commercials. Like it's absurd over there. One of the nice things is if I push play and I'm watching something, but I got something to do, I can just turn my phone off or whatever I'm watching and it still plays the audio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't know if Spotify does that.
Yes. Spotify, you can listen without your phone being on.
All right.
Because it's like a listening app. It's not a video app necessarily. But
yeah. So YouTube does that. I didn't know that until I did it. I was like, oh yeah. That's
and no commercials.
Yeah.
That's good because I've never really had a problem, but just the other day, actually, I don't know if you saw like the whole Cat Williams on the Shannon Sharp show.
It was brought up to me by a friend, but I had no idea what he was talking about. Like,
okay, so it's like a 3-hour long podcast.
Yeah.
So they cut it in 2 parts, and I was watching the first part, and I only got like 40 minutes into the first part.
Right.
And like every 10 minutes, maybe less, sometimes there was a commercial, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of annoying. Because other podcasts or other...
What platform was that?
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So other videos I watch, they're like, at the most 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That there's not much. There's one commercial and that's it.
Right.
But this is so long that there was multiple commercials.
No, YouTube, they just shove the freaking ads in there. It
Yeah.
drives me nuts. And then the worst part is you got those ads and then you also have the creator ads in the video, And I'm like, okay, I can't handle it. So I caved and paid $20 a month.
Yeah. So it's never bugged me until then. I was like, oh, okay. So if I actually watch like podcasts, that's why like I was telling you, clipping podcasts and just making them shorter and like putting those little clips out there.
Yeah.
It's beneficial because it goes a long way because you're probably not going to get as many commercials as to this hour-long podcast we're about to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I could see that. But, dude, I pay for everything.
Netflix. Do you? Well, Netflix, I swear, Netflix has the best content. The original stuff, you know, is really good. And then they, I think their ability to purchase stuff, license it, has gone down quite a bit since all these other platforms have started streaming. But I was just reading about how a lot of analysts are predicting that a lot of like Paramount, Peacock, a lot of other platforms are going to start either merging or just cancel their stuff altogether and just go back to licensing their stuff because most of them are actually in the red for last year. Yeah,
it's funny because if they start merging, then all of a sudden it's cable.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what we got now.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how much you want, I try to be real selective. Like I canceled YouTube, Netflix for a while, and then I brought it back because I was like, well, this is the only thing that I really watch anything on other than YouTube.
Yeah.
So anything else I have is just kind of like Amazon Prime is a gimme just because I paid.
You have Prime already, yeah.
But like Hulu and stuff, I won't pay for that. So unless I have someone else's username and password, I'm like, nah, I guess I'm not getting that.
So we got Hulu because we got the ESPN and the Disney deal.
Yeah.
So we always have two
Disney's
boys.
one of those ones that lost a shitload of money last year, like $1.6
because they've been pushing that gay agenda on parents and kids and stuff, and I don't think it's okay. It's like
I don't know why they're struggling so bad, but maybe that's because all their new content is like that. I know that's
they put like stuff like that, and I think the last movie they came out with, which I don't know if it was Pixar's Pixar Disney. No.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So it was like I don't know what it was called, but it was basically I don't know. It was basically like feelings. Like little cartoons that were like different feelings and stuff.
And then anxiety.
Yeah, and stuff. And I'm like, dude, my kid doesn't need to watch that because first of all, he doesn't know what certain feelings are.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to like go watch a cartoon that explains to him or teaches him, hey, this is anxiety.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he comes to me, he's like, hey, I got anxiety.
That's funny. Yeah, because I was just talking to a buddy about anxiety and how much more aware everyone is of what anxiety is nowadays. And I'm like, dude, what happened to the good old fashioned like, yeah, this is life. It sucks. Just suck it up and change something to make it better if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, now we can just, identify the anxiety portion and now we need medication or something.
Yeah. So I'm big on like keeping kids innocent as long as possible. Like,
oh yeah,
I got 2 boys, I hope they can grow up and once they get it to the age to like be learning certain things, then cool. But like, let them be kids,
right.
And I don't need Disney to be like putting out movies with like 2 girls kissing. Like,
yeah, I know, right?
Or 2 cartoon girls kissing.
My kids like cover their eyes and stuff when there's anything intimate on the screen now. Like, if there's like kissing, even in a cartoon, they're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all right. Yeah, good. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
Give it a few more years.
I mean, I'll see 2 girls kissing, but my boys don't need to see that.
Oh, my God.
So I think that's what happened with Disney. But so we have that. ESPN Plus, you get the fight nights for UFC.
Oh, right.
So that's always good. We got Hulu, which I never watched. That's more my wife. We have Paramount, which I never really watched. That's more my wife for the kids because it got like Nickelodeon.
Damn, you got it all.
Yeah, but Paramount's been showing like NFL games.
Oh, okay.
So we've been watching between Peacock and Paramount. We catch like 4 games and during the weekend when we didn't watch any games because we didn't have none of the football channels.
Right. I didn't know that. Okay. How much is Paramount?
I don't know.
Okay.
$12. I don't know.
God, you're bougie, man.
Yeah.
You don't even know. That's the only reason why I had Peacock was for the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
And then I just been kind of in and out watching it. It was only like $5 a month. I'm like, that's worth it.
I mean, and Peacock shows like Supercross, motocross, and then it has some pretty decent movies and the football games. So actually, Peacock is pretty decent.
Right. Oh wait, I thought you said Paramount has the football games.
They both do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
So I think like Paramount during the day, like gets the early game, and then the Peacock gets the primetime game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! All right, I did. So this whole NFL season, I've been had access to football games, and
dude, my kids like because they don't really care about like sports too much, dude. They're like so into NFL right now. They're like waiting for Saturday because it's a playoff game.
Yeah. Like
the Chiefs versus the Dolphins, and like
how'd they get into it?
From watching the games.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird because my kids, we haven't watched football and they don't play football. But I think just influence from school. He's like, my older son, he's like going to be 10 here this month. And he's comes home and talks about a player on the NFL. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's so cool. We should, whatever. So I actually downloaded Madden last week. So I was like, yeah, we could play a game every once in a while. It's fine.
No, yeah, they've been into it, dude. They're like really liking Baltimore, and Baltimore kind of, I think, is like going to the Super Bowl. So I told Jack I would get him a Lamar Jackson jersey.
That's cool.
And then the little one, he wants the Dolphins to go.
Okay.
They play the Chiefs this weekend, and Jack has a teacher that loves the Chiefs, so can't wait till they lose so he can go to school and tell her.
Yeah.
Like, make fun of her. But
shit on Taylor Swift.
Yeah. So, and that's all because we just happen to have these subscriptions and they actually show that stuff. So it's actually pretty cool. So that's kind of why we haven't canceled certain things. Okay. And then Netflix is Netflix.
Yeah. It's there. I got rid of it for a while and then I was like, that's the only thing I really could watch a lot of those like murder, cold case files kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They have a ton of that stuff. So until I start getting nightmares and I'm like, all right, we better stop for a while.
Yeah. For sure.
So what's the plan for this year? Anything good? We got Mammoth. I say we because I just go with you even though I don't race. I just go and do photos and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Mammoth this year. Trying to get in good shape for that.
Right on.
Do good. And other than that, just like podcasting and that's about it.
Do you know if the track out at Fernley, is that going to stay open? Because they were talking about like this could be the last season. I don't know.
Well, because another track opened.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So the old Fernley track, that one, the one you've been out there with me, the sandbox, that one, a buddy of ours actually took it over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he got the rights to it. I don't know, like all that kind of stuff, but he took it over. So they've been having practice like basically every weekend. Mm-hmm. So then the other one I think was like, well, fuck, if you guys don't come to our practice, then, but it's like, dude, we should be able to have 4 or 5 different tracks in our area.
You'd think so.
But,
just get different look at stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, for right now, that New Fernley track is doing pretty good, I think.
And is that the one on the other side of the Highway 80 there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. I think I've been to that one too.
Yeah. So it should be good. But yeah, other than that, dude, just, I don't know. We'll wait and see what this 24 has for us, because already it has some weirdo stuff going on. All the like UFO sightings again.
Oh, yeah. But that's just bullshit. I mean,
Yeah.
come on now.
My thing about that is like, there was a whole thing in Miami where like the entire police force in Florida, I think, was down in Miami, and they were saying there was like 10-foot aliens at the mall.
What?
I don't know if you didn't see that one.
No.
So it was all over Twitter, and they got like footage of them from like above, like helicopter and all that. And, you know, people were coming on TikTok saying like, "Oh, my dad works for the force," and I called him, and they showed the clip, and basically like he was like, "Oh, I can't talk about that." And he's like, "Dude, Dad, you could tell me."
Yeah.
And he's all videoing it. And the dad's like, "No, we're not allowed to talk about it." And it's like, so a lot of weird stuff coming on. And then just recently, like maybe within the last few days, sightings of like jellyfish type UFOs have been going on. You know? So
Yeah, I'm out of the loop apparently.
yeah, but it's like, my thing is, how come every time there's a UFO, all of a sudden the cameras went back to 1940?
Yeah, that shit's so annoying. Is it has something to do with the lighting? I don't know.
Nah, dude, it don't matter.
Yeah.
Like camera phones nowadays are like pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty annoying. I'll admit that for sure.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it.
So that's why I'm not a believer. It's like every time all of a sudden the cameras just don't work that good. The quality is just horrible. So you see something, but you can't really tell.
Maybe it's part of their technology, man. Maybe it's like, resolution destroying technology.
Yeah,
I don't know.
what it is, but so that's been going on, and we got the election this year. And
Have you heard anyone say that 2024 is going to be their year?
It's going to be my year.
Okay, well, I got my first then. I've heard, no one's like, get ready for 2024. It has been like no motivational speak at all. I'm like, yeah, I think everyone's pretty much done.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty beat up. Yeah,
I'm feeling it.
We're not looking too good, but
I did start a new little venture here, thanks to you, actually. Every time my wife is like, "Hey, you gonna like join the family at some point?" I'm like, "Well, you blame Jorge for this because you actually got me out of the track doing some photos." And next thing I know, now I've opened a company. I'm trying to do basically photography for athletes, like sportraits is what they're calling it. But I'm trying to break into like the high school scene, just because that's where there's a shitload of shitload of athletes that are like at a level where I can kind of get into the market. Breaking into college and stuff, you kind of have to have a whatever.
Your foot in the door, your name or know someone, for sure. So talk about your company.
It's called check it out on Instagram. It's called Action Image Studio. It's so funny because I'm like, God, I get down on myself sometimes. I'm like, dang, dude, I don't know why am I struggling. I'm like, well, I just started this like 4 months ago. Yeah, like what the hell do I expect? And then I see other people like in the area. There's 2 other photography companies in the area that are like kind of dominating. One of them in particular is really, really going after it. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm sure I'm like, since this is essentially a hobby for me, like luckily all my main job takes care of all my bills and retirement and all that stuff. So I'm pretty solid and everything, all my photography stuff's paid for. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to tackle it at an angle where it's like, well, maybe some of these other schools don't want to pay $2,500 to have their photos like media day done. So I'll offer them something at half that price. That's going to be, and my style is a little bit more dramatic. Yeah. So more dramatic, but not so like, hey, here's a bunch of images you guys can turn into, huge collages that you're going to post all over your stuff. It's just like more for the kids, for the hype and stuff. And stuff I want to like, I try to create stuff where a kid is going to get home, see the images and want to like print a poster of that on his wall and be like, hell yeah, that's badass. Yeah.
You're definitely more like in a specialty kind of area and stuff, but it just takes time, dude. Yeah. I've been doing video. I've been doing videography, like video production, all that since 2005.
That's quite a while.
Yeah. And then I've been doing photography since 2010.
Right.
So and I feel like I made a little name for myself and doing all that stuff. And then I just got kind of burnt out on it. I have the passion because I'm like a creative. Yeah. So I have the passion to create things and like visually like kind of please myself.
Right.
And I don't really care about no one else.
Yeah.
So
Visually pleasing yourself.
yeah.
That sounds funny, but I totally identify with what you're saying because that's the way I feel. Like when I go and I do this, and I've done a couple now, and then like my first major, if I call it a gig or whatever, is coming up next week where I got like an entire like 4A high school basketball team. They're like, the coaches called me. It was like, hey, we got to have this. Why don't you come do it? So we actually just postponed. It's supposed to be today, but all the snow last night postponed their game last night, and they're doing it today. So
perfect. And you keep coming on the pod.
But that's how. But like that's how I approach it. I'm like, I want something so freaking crazy, dynamic, just dramatic looking that people are gonna be like, holy shit, that's amazing. Not just like, because the regular style is really cool. I like it, but it doesn't have a look where it's like people are gonna be like, oh my God, that is.
Well, everything has a place.
Yeah.
You know, everything has a place, and you know, there's obviously a need for just like normal photos, athlete photos, or just photos in general, like headshots and stuff like that. So everything has a place, but yeah, you're definitely putting yourself in a different kind of market. But where I was going was, you know, I don't think my style is so much good for business because I rather create for myself,
right,
than other people.
Yeah,
you know, yeah, of course.
And I think that's the sign of a true creative as opposed to someone that's trying to be commercial. You know?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like if people hit me up and stuff, I really got to consider it. And then I'm like, is it going to be cool?
Yeah.
For me, you know, not even money wise. I'm just talking about like the experience going to be cool.
Yeah.
Am I going to get something that I'm going to like really appreciate? And if it's no, then most likely I'm like, nah, I can't. Even though like it would be nice to like have the money, but I'm like, nah, I'd rather not do it because I kind of put myself out there when it's like I don't need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but when it's something cool,
right?
I'm always down. But like that's why I almost like 90% of the time shoot with my phone now because my phone's with me all the time.
Right.
So anywhere I go, I see inspiration or I see cool things, and I'll take photos then.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy.
And the phones do great now.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, lighting conditions given they're okay.
Yeah.
You're pretty well solid on that.
So, but the thing is that like it makes me happy like doing it. So I'm like, and I don't do nothing with the photos. I just have them. You know, but then when I need to take photos for someone or whatever, then obviously I do it, but that's been a lot limited throughout the years.
Right.
So it's cool to see you know, wanting to start up a company and actually work for it and stuff like that. And you know, I know you call me and I appreciate it because I know that you wouldn't just call me just because like you call me because you do like value my criticism or you know, input and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm always like, okay, what's Jorge gonna say? Well, you know, I'm probably my own worst critic, but I'm like, yeah, but where's the reality at? Because if I show my grandma, no matter what I do, it's gonna be perfect, right? So you got to have like that scale, and I'm like, all right, here's me, here's grandma, and then Jorge is probably on the stricter side of like the harsh scale, you know, rather than like general public, and then there's Jorge, you know. I'm like, so if I want to get ripped apart, I'm like, all right, let's send this more.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's all love. I don't do it to hate. I do it to let you know for sure. And
that's what friends are for, man.
Yeah.
I mean, good friends can actually, you know, tell you like the truth without bullshitting. And, you know, I mean, the relationship there is whatever it is. But yeah, because there's stuff like what you were saying about, you know, you want to do stuff for you. So like I took a series of photos at a small high school. And one of the images, I was like, dude, that's so sick. That's so sick. So I put it up on Instagram and I let people vote. Like, because there was this really cool photo. And then there was the one that I really liked. I was like, that one's going to dominate. It didn't. I got destroyed. I was like, wow. In my mind. But the other one was pretty cool. But in my mind, I was like, that's like the dynamic look that I really want. And I guess it's because it was mostly just a silhouette. People didn't care for it as much.
Yeah. And that's what I've been telling you like this whole time, this whole process. Like people are really hard to work with and for. Because they expect something and you shoot it and then they're like not happy with it. And it's like, that's how you look.
Yeah.
Like, believe me, that's how you look. You know,
my God, that's funny.
You might have a different perception about yourself in your own head, but this photo is exactly how you look. So, you know, but so that's why it's hard. And then some people really like your style. Some people will really hate it.
Yeah.
And there's going to be people in the middle that are like, okay, cool, whatever. So that's like the biggest, like, the hardest thing in photography, because you get like the no's or you get the people that don't like it, or in general, like, you know, because I do like graphic design and all that. Like I might do a design and I might do that's so dope, you know. It's like my first like draft. I'm like, that's sick. And then someone gets it and they're like, I'm like, you don't know what you're talking
Right,
about. You know, but they might not know what they're talking about, but they're the customer. So
they're ones,
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but
That's rough.
I'm over here like, dude, that's sick. And they're like, maybe you could change this. And I'm like, but that wouldn't look cool.
You're like, no, I don't want to change that. This is, you hired, this is what I'm doing. Okay.
Yeah.
So the way I've found like a small little way around this, like where it's like, this is what I want to do. Or like, I want to try to push those boundaries. Like, so for like the next shoot I'm doing, I designed 6 different sets, and I know sets 1 through 5 are solid. I already know the lighting setups. I know those are going to come out good. I know what those are going to look like. And then set number 6 is my set. Like, okay, I'm going to try this because this is what in this particular case, what it is, I'm going to have one of the kids, I'll just do individuals on this. One of the kids take the fog machine and blow the fog up the back. So it's like just kind of surrounding them. And then there's going to be a gelled light behind it. So hopefully it'll make, in this case, I think the high school colors are black with a green accent. So it's going to be green fog, hopefully just spilling past them with an open shot of their face. I think that'll look badass. So that's kind of like that's like my compromise to myself. Okay, well, we're going to do these ones, which already are my style. And then this one's going to be it could work out, it could not, but that's going to be, my set.
That's good. Yeah. You got to push yourself and do outside the box stuff. So
yeah. And I haven't seen anyone else do that. I mean, there's a couple of huge Instagram accounts where these guys are, all over in their small region, but they're, one of them did 100 and I think they said 160 schools last year. I'm like, holy shit. Or maybe 160 shoots, whatever, through every season they're there for each thing. So, but it's I don't know. It's cool to see that, but you just start seeing the same kind of stuff over and over again. So I'm always trying to think, okay, how do I change this into something to where no one's seen this style yet, or at least it's not been promoted at a level where I came across it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work, so you got a lot of work cut out for yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But whatever. I mean, it's there. I got it. I got everything paid for, so it's just kind of now it's just a matter of me getting out there and doing it.
Yeah. So we got listeners local to the area. If you need any photos, hit up.
Oh yeah, check out
Photo Studio.
Action Image Studio. I just basically rolled the dice and came up with a name.
Yeah.
Actually, I used AI until it came out with a series of things, and I just took little bits. I was like, okay, Action Image Studio. Everyone knows what that is, so just by the name, and so I chose that. So look me up on Instagram. Shoot me, give me a follow. High schools, Little League, Pop Warner. Everything in between. Rates change depending on how old the kids are because we'll get more in depth and on the setups and stuff.
Yeah.
And with that, obviously, comes more editing. So.
And if you really want to be paying like $50K, then that's when you hit me up.
Yeah. Hit Jorge up for the $50K
Otherwise,
jobs.
I don't want it.
And I'll just be on site for his, I'll be his assistant. And just charging him $25.
No, that's good. It's good to get out there and do stuff. Cause and I've told you like, it's easy for people to get into it, like photography.
Yeah. Well, everyone's got a camera.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times already where it's like, I was doing a set for, just to get off the ground, I was doing a set for some high school seniors and the mom was there, I was like, yeah, bring your parents. So everything's cool. Everyone's comfortable, whatever. And she's like, well, how much would you charge for something like this? And I'm like, well, individual sessions are like $400. And she was like, what? I'm like, but wait till you see the photos, one. And two, she's like, well, we paid like $80. We went all the way to Tahoe and paid $80 for senior portraits. I was like, did you like them? She goes, yeah, they were good. Some lady locally, whatever. And I'm like, well, then that's all that matters. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But of course, first thing I did was when I looked at the photos, when I got home, I was like, oh, look at this kid's Instagram account. I was like, there they are. And I was like, yeah, those are $80 photos.
Yeah. But that's the other struggle. The struggle is that like a lot of times you'll like a photo just because it's your kid. Right. Whether it's good or not. Well, yeah.
I mean, that's like the grandma reference. I said, no matter what I do, the grandma's going to be like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm like, eh.
So $80 and but $400, that's not even.
That's still cheap.
Yeah. I was going to say that's not even like off of like what it's been for the last like 10 years.
Right.
And stuff's way more expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
So like for the last 10 years, dude.
Yeah. The other professionals in the area. And then I got some contacts like in the Midwest. That are doing very similar stuff. They'll charge around $600 to $800.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm not out here. I can't make it a full-time job. I just want it to stack cash on my 401k.
Well, you can make it a full-time job.
Yeah, I could, but I don't want to. I'll make it a secondary job. No problem.
That's the thing. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for listening to my sob story, my dream story, whatever it is.
Yeah. So if you guys need photo, hit him up. Check out his Instagram. Other than that, what else you got?
I don't know. What do we got going on this year? I probably don't want to talk politics. I don't have enough information to talk politics anyway. I try not to pay attention. I just keep hearing about everyone challenging Trump on the ballot, and I'm like,
pretty lame.
That sounds bad. That sounds really bad. Like, I don't know. That just kind of sends a signal, no matter where you are politically. That just sends a signal that you're worried about that person winning. Because if you've, whatever, it's like, well, if people are voting and they elect that person, then, whatever. What else we got going on? I don't know. Aliens. Well, I hit you up for politics for Mammoth. Yeah. Just this week, we verified that is happening on the same weekend. My wife got a save the date for a wedding, and I immediately texted you. I was like, "Yo, when's Mammoth? Can we book that like now, please?" Yeah. So that's funny. That's kind of like the other than work and second job. That's the next big thing I'm looking forward to. Get out there. I got the new lens, that 100 to 400. You gonna be doing any golfing this year? Or are you just too busy? Yeah, I was golfing a lot at the beginning of this year, and then I kind of fell off the bandwagon. Golf to me is one of those things that's just so, like Mike, I know he goes out and plays all the time, so he's naturally he's just in the zone. Yeah. For me, I gotta work at it. Yeah. If I'm not out there 2+ times a week, I can't shoot worth a shit. Like I'll be in the 90s, no problem. So I'm gonna be joining their men's club this year. Okay. I expect greatness out of myself. You better do something good. Yeah. So I'll probably be doing that a lot, golfing. Yeah, you should cheat a little bit. It's not cheating, but it is going to skew things in your favor. Don't start golfing and recording handicap. Don't even start golfing, so it's no cheating at all. But don't start golfing until you join and you need to get your handicap. What do you mean don't start golfing? Well, don't get any better at golf than you are now. No, fuck that. The point is to get better. No. Ask Mike. Because what happens is your handicap is basically this is your best scores. Yeah. So to play under your handicap, you have to basically play your best rounds. Yeah. So don't do that. No, I'm gonna start now, practice, get good. Okay. And when I need to do the handicap, I'll just go out there all hammered or something. Well, that's cheating. Golf really shitty. There's an honest way to skew it, right? Like, just get better and your handicap will have a hard time catching up to how you're progressing. And then you always have a little bit of a skewed favor. Because, I don't know. Every time I've played in a men's club, it's just been so annoying. Because it's like, how the fuck are you beating you're already a scratch golfer and now you're shooting 5 under? But it doesn't make sense to me. Just stuff like that. Or the guys that have a handicap of 20 and 30. Somehow or another, they're breaking that by 10 strokes. I'm like, no. Yeah, that's what Mike was saying last podcast. I think the winner, the winner of men's club this year, someone in men's club, I think usually he'll like golf really good, but when it comes to when he's doing like just regular things for his handicap, he like golfs shitty. But then when he actually golfs, right? I heard that conversation. It's exactly what I'm talking about. It's so annoying. Yeah. It's like, dude, no, nuh-uh. No, I won't do that, but. Point is to get good. Yeah. My thing is I don't really care. Right. So my thing is I'm only cheating myself. Right. That's why like when you golf, I've golfed with people before and they're like, oh, you're like super honest. I'm all, dude, what? That is so funny. What's the difference of me? Super honest. Yeah. Like me, like hitting it 4 putt or 3 putts. Yeah. Nothing. Because it doesn't do anything for me. You're not competing. No. So. Or like, they're like, oh, I'll give you that. And I'm like, nah, I'll hit it. And they're like, oh, you're super honest. I'm like, how am I getting better? Right. By you just giving me that and me picking it up. Right. That's why I've never got with like the whole give me's and all that stuff. Even though like I'm not like the biggest avid golfer. Yeah. Like I get there. Have you guys talked about give me's on the show? I don't think you have. Like you guys should do like a golf etiquette like analysis on that shit because it's funny. Some of those you can get in some real heated conversations sometimes when you get people that are like, well, gimmies is just it's just normal, man. It's like,
but you're only cheating yourself.
A fucking 6 foot gimme is not normal.
No, we should talk about it because I need to know some rules maybe that I don't know. Yeah, before I go in there.
Yes.
And then,
well, it sounds like Mike's crew is probably going to be intoxicated enough to where you.
Yeah, and I was about to say that.
Like they enjoy the drinks.
Yeah, the other part about that is that I'm going to probably be the sober one.
Yeah.
So
you're going to have to call them on everything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so.
Yep. I'll have like a little counter they do like at concerts. Press the button. I'm like, dude, that was 4 strokes right there. Come on.
You're playing with a foursome. You got 4 counters.
Yeah.
Like, one for Mike.
Oh, got to keep everyone honest.
That's funny.
So I'll probably be golfing.
Yeah.
Riding dirt bikes.
May or may not. I think I tried to get you to play last year.
I did play with you guys.
No, like men's club thing. I think you brought it up and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, no. That was something different. They had like a little Thursday tournament things.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I was like, yeah, let's go. My claim to fame is I actually beat Mike well, you were with us. I beat Mike at golf one time. Best round I've ever shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's not normal. I think you know what happened? He was egging me on to drink, and so I started drinking. And the next thing you know, I shot 74. And I was like, wow.
So maybe drinking is the key. Maybe he has drinking.
But that just happened one time. I would never beat him again because I usually shoot like an 84, 85 when I'm playing a lot. So he
did say one of his New Year's resolutions was to get better at golf.
Really?
Yep.
He's gonna put in the work, huh?
Yep. He's gonna put in the work, get better. I mean, to his defense, he does go and do some really cool like events.
Yeah. Well, even like his group thing with Abandoned Dunes. Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think he was posting stuff on Instagram, like stories and shit. I was watching that. I was like, yeah, that's so.
But I mean, he went to a live Pro-Am this year.
Well, I mean, that's
golf
cool
with like
too.
Pat Perez and some other like really good dudes from Live, and it's like, yeah, you should probably be maybe a little bit better than you are to go there. And I know those guys probably don't care. And Mike's like the celebrity, like athlete guy.
Yeah,
they're the athletes. This guy's something different.
Right.
So I know they don't care. And Mike always says like those guys are super cool. A lot of times they're like more impressed what he does or what he's done than, vice versa. So I know they don't care, but at the same time, like part of you in you being a competitor and stuff, you want to be like, I want to be a little bit better than I am,
Yeah.
So I think that's where that's coming from. So yeah, that's good.
No, that's cool, man. Yeah, no, he's always out doing something gnarly. Like even now, he's just like, oh yeah, I just like you were saying, to live golf. I'm just like, wow.
By the way, we're 37 minutes in. Now Mace is in Toledo, I think. I think he said at the Chili Bowl.
Really?
Which is like a little midget car racing championship or something like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where at?
Toledo, I think.
Toledo. Okay. All right. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's where he's at. That's why he's missing, but he'll be here next week.
Did he just go out there for fun, or was it an invite, or what?
Yeah, he has a buddy that is like, I think, basically the champion.
Oh,
I think, like keeps it on 4 wheels this weekend. I think he'll be the champion winner.
Wow.
Or the championship, So, yeah, that's one of his good buddies there. So I know him and his pops went and someone else and just enjoying some midget car racing. I don't know. I've never gotten into that. I've never been a NASCAR or
really?
Like stuff like that,
I've only been to one race, and that was way back. I don't know. That must have been 30 years ago. No, not 30. Maybe 25. But when the Carson City had the old track.
Yeah.
Up by
Fuji.
Yeah. I don't. Well, it's where that new track housing is, right on Topsy. If you hang up there, that used to be a racetrack out
Silver
there.
State.
Yeah, something like that. But that's like the only time I've ever been to one of those races where I think they had the midget and the funny cars out there. When I saw them, I was like, well, these are pretty gnarly looking things. But it was cool.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, I've never really been into it, but
right. Yeah, I don't watch NASCAR or anything, but it's neat. It's a neat experience.
Yeah, it's a super big fan base.
Is
from
it?
Obviously those little midget cars to like the little I have a buddy and his son's been racing. I think he's a year older than my son. And he does like the little go-karts, but I'm sure they're called something else.
Right.
They're like fast. He's been doing those, and I keep up with them, and super big fan base from that all the way up to NASCAR, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah. Or even monster trucks.
Right.
I went to a monster truck show one time. I took my little cousins, dude. It was so loud in there.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
Gnarly. Yeah. You got to bring your headphones.
Yeah.
Earplugs, whatever you got. Yeah, and it's usually cold in those places because those I think they're like something like 20,000 horsepower. So it's just absurd how hot those things are.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
So just in general, there's a topic I want to bring up with Mace, and I'll say it now so we can bring it up next time. Is I wonder, like, groupies, because there has to be like golf groupies.
Do you think the quality of groupies changes with the sport?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, like rappers, maybe like top tier, NFL, top tier, golf. Yeah, there's probably top tier.
Well,
And then like you
talking
get into like, I don't know, funny cars or midgets, like maybe they're the D-list
but
groupies.
dude,
I
not
don't
even
know.
that.
Yeah.
Like pickleball players.
No, dude. What?
Dude, championship fucking jump roping. Dude, there's a thing for everything, right?
Have you seen the ones? I don't know. Who am I to say there's no groupies for this? Have you seen the ones where the kids gallop like a horse? Head,
yeah.
Like on a stick.
Uh-huh.
What is that?
Dude, I just saw a clip and the chick jumped like a
I saw
thing
it too.
this tall.
That's why I brought it up. I was like, that was kind of impressive to jump that damn high, but what?
With a stick between your legs, and
Yeah, I'm like, what is this?
they probably don't have groupies. But
No, probably not.
yeah, there has to be golf groupies. For sure there's NASCAR, like racing groupies.
Yeah, oh, definitely NASCAR.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other cars. I would imagine. Maybe.
Well, you know, golf, what's his name? Dustin Johnson or one of those guys. Yeah, Johnson, I think. He's with Wayne Gretzky's daughter. Pulled her. How do you pull her?
I don't
she
know.
had to been kind of like in the golfing scene.
Something's going on there.
You know, NBA players, NFL players, rappers, Kim Kardashian type.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift's over in the NFL right now. She got drafted by the Chiefs. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, but is she considered a groupie? She's not a groupie.
Well,
she just kind of makes her own way. She's like,
yeah, but we'll get a ton of hate for this. But yeah, she's. You don't see Travis Kelce at the Taylor Swift concert.
Wait, is it Kelsey or Kels?
Kelce?
Okay, all right, thanks.
So you don't see Travis Kelce
At the Taylor Swift.
at the Taylor Swift concert
Right.
or the meet and greets and stuff like that, being the boyfriend. Then he's the groupie to Taylor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she's at the NFL game. She's the groupie.
Do you think this was just a move to popularize himself amongst the Swifties?
I mean, but why not on his part? Or,
Yeah.
I mean, he probably knew what he was doing, but
Yeah.
I actually think they make a pretty good couple.
Okay. I mean,
Like looking at
I'm
him.
not knocking on it, but I mean, I think you guys talked about it before. Taylor Swift, I think she's definitely got a thing going for her, and she's done really great. As far as appeal goes, I don't see it.
Really?
Yeah. As a woman, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not a woman. I'd be like, holy smokes.
Well, no, but I'd knock it down.
Okay. Well.
But I will say this.
I would knock it down. Never heard that one before.
I will
Okay.
say this though. I don't see the appeal in the music.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Well, it doesn't it's for like, 16-year-old girls or 30-year-old girls apparently.
it's from like, I think 5 until like 60.
Okay, well,
The
there you go.
Swifties go hard, dude.
Yeah.
But, I take the boys to school. So, I listen to my rap and sometimes I'm like, maybe this is a little too much for 2 little kids. So I'll put in like on Spotify, the USA top 50 or something like that.
Yeah.
So she'll come on and I'll listen to it. And I'm like, she has a really good voice.
Yeah.
She sings good. She has like catchy tunes, good music and stuff like that. But there's nothing about any of the songs I've ever listened to that she has that justifies how the Swifties act, justifies
Right.
the cult following that she has.
What makes her like at the top level compared to anyone else? That's
It's like nothing,
I don't know.
because even like say like Beyonce, she's had like super,
Must be the content.
I don't know, but Beyonce's had like all the single ladies.
Yeah.
Halo, like
And
those,
that was a huge song.
yeah, those songs like that, like are kind of like iconic songs, right?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, Thriller, like you can understand why people like went crazy for that shit. It's
Right.
nowadays and people still love Thriller and Beat It, and
Right.
Billie Jean and stuff like that. Those were like iconic songs. Hers are just like normal songs on the radio.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I wonder if it
understand
was
the-
like, because I remember when I was in high school or something, that's when she was having her big hits, and she was like the same age as us, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know,
probably.
how old is she? Somewhere close to us. So I think maybe it's just the evolution of someone being like stardom so early and continuing that throughout the last 20 years, basically.
Yeah, and I mean she's solid. She puts out hits after hits. Like every time she puts out an album, there's
That's
multiple
what I mean.
hits.
It's just been like because Beyonce, I kind of knew of her, but has she been like as successful for as long? I don't know, and I think maybe that's been the difference.
Well, Beyonce was in a group, Destiny's Child.
Oh right, yeah.
And then she left the group and became Beyonce.
Who heard of that?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
But that's what I don't get.
Right.
I was like, dude, I just don't understand. Her music is fine.
Yeah.
Like it's actually better than a lot of stuff that's on the radio or whatever,
Right.
you know? So I listen to some songs. I'm like, dude, what was that? It was just a bunch of noise. And at the very end, I just like snapped back into reality. And I'm like, what was that?
Yeah.
That was shit. But her stuff is fine.
Right.
But it's not the iconic songs or artist for her to have that type of following.
Yeah.
She's like the number.
I think it's. I swear. I think it's just been that she's had so many singles at the top of the Billboard for so long. It's just kind of accumulated into this thing, and now she's kind of representing like.
She's like clean cut too.
Dreams and heartbreak for girls everywhere. Or something.
Well, I don't know,
but.
Phone call. But yeah, so I didn't get that, but that's going on.
How did we end up here? I have no idea.
I don't know. I said something about the.
I was like halfway through this. I was like, we're analyzing Taylor Swift.
Groupies.
Right.
She's the groupie.
Okay, all right.
She's an NFL groupie. She's in the NFL.
All right, I'll buy it. Just
plain and simple.
Yeah.
If Travis was going to Taylor Swift events,
he's going to eventually.
Well, I don't know.
How long is this gonna last?
Hopefully forever. I think they're a good couple, dude.
Okay.
I like it.
You're bought into it. Okay.
I think they're a good couple.
I don't know shit about it, so I haven't been watching.
Yeah.
I just seen some of the stats from, ever since Taylor Swift's going to Chiefs games, how many more viewers they're getting and this and that. I'm like, oh my God.
I will say Dave has a podcast himself. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah.
It changes, but
it flip flops.
Yeah.
It's called Two Dumb Hunks, actually.
Okay. Two Dumb Hunks on Spotify. Yeah, you guys talk
we talk about random
your co-host
shit.
there.
Yeah, buckle up if you tune into one of those.
I love how he throws out like stats and everything, and he's like always wrong.
Yeah,
not stats, but
he is. Dude, he'll say something like, "That's not what happened."
The last one, he's all, "Dude, did you listen to Cat Williams on Deion Sanders' show?" It's like, that wasn't Deion Sanders. That was Shannon Sharp.
Did he say Deion Sanders?
Yeah.
Like I said, I had no idea what was going on, so I was like, no.
But he'll like do stuff like that, and I think he said something about Kelsey, and it's like, dude, Kelsey is actually like probably one of the best tight ends in NFL history.
Right.
Besides the whole,
because he was kind of saying that he's a nobody.
Yeah, besides
and
Taylor
like,
Swift,
I don't know shit about any of this.
And that was the big issue. That all the women are like, "Oh, do you see like how she made his career?"
Yeah.
And every man's like, "Dude, he's like legit one of the goats."
Right.
As a tight end.
Yeah.
Even like I listened to Gronkowski on a Full Send podcast, and they asked him, "Hey, give us your top 3 tight ends or something like that." He's like, "Well, obviously I'm in there," and then I think he said Tony Gonzalez from the Atlanta Falcons, someone else, and then he's like Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And this is a peer. This is a guy that's played and he has multiple championships with the Patriots and the Bucks and stuff, and he's probably considered one of the best tight ends to ever be.
Right.
And he's saying one of his top 5 or 3 tight ends is Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
So that's where like the whole argument is. So like legit, he's actually really good. So yeah, people are watching more because of her, but
yeah, she brought a totally different fan base into it. So.
And they've been winning, like, they won the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
But he was there. Like, he's like Patrick Mahomes, like #1 target.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah. But it cracks me up when I listen to your podcast and he'll throw stuff out there.
Yeah, take nothing seriously, folks.
Yeah.
It is constant. I'm like, okay, so
that one cracked me up.
Usually I have to question it.
He's all Deion Sanders, and I'm like, that wrong football player. He's a black man, yes, but not all black men are the same.
Yeah,
dude. Speaking of black men, you see that new controversy? Not really. Well, it might be, but I don't know. I don't really know. Noah Kaniga.
What?
Noah. He's a football player.
Okay.
I think he's a junior.
Okay.
in high school. But he's a huge kid.
Oh, dang.
Right? So his name's Noah, last name Knigga. So everyone's saying, we hope he makes it
Is
into
the
the
K
league.
silent?
It has to be silent. Dude,
Yeah.
the K is basically like no.
Yeah. Right.
K and
It's got to be.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
No or not.
Yeah.
Like tying a knot. It has to be.
Whew.
But everyone's saying it K.
This poor kid, he's either going to make it because of that or not make it because of
Well,
that.
everyone's saying like we hope he makes it because the
announcers got to
the
say
announcers have to say it or
Yeah.
they're gonna have a field day on that shit.
that. Here comes Noah.
Yeah.
They're just going to say that.
So yeah, I listened to another podcast. I had a white dude and a black dude, and the white dude was saying K, and the black guy was saying the last part. So maybe that's what they'll do in the commentary booth. They'll just have a black and a white dude.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Noah K, and then the black dude will say the last part.
Be like whatever team he's on, he's like, oh, this team's playing. We gotta have an all black commentary.
Yeah. So out of all that stuff, though, it's been going kind of viral because it is kind of a crazy name. But I haven't seen anywhere where like the dude says what his name, how you say it. Even his dad, like I saw a clip of his dad,
Really?
and like I haven't seen a clip where like they're like, okay, this is how you actually say her name.
Right.
But I guarantee you, it's the K silent.
I mean, it's got to be.
It has to be.
There's another way to have it.
No. And in that case, we could say it. I mean, I said it, but you know,
Yeah. I ain't saying it.
it's
either,
winter, so my
He'll just be
complexion's
known
a
as
little
Noah.
bit lighter. But
That's the thing.
yeah, Noah K.
Noah's on the field.
Noah K.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a pretty funny one.
Or they'll just put the K in front of Noah. Kanoa.
Hey, bring that up for your podcast. I would love to hear what your co-host has to say
You
about
know what?
that.
I'll do that. In fact, I'm recording that today for Monday. So
Oh, there you go.
there it
Because
is. I will.
he's a little wild boy when it comes to the black people.
Well, I don't think he intends to be, but yeah. I'm like, what? What was that? You want to say it again?
Send him an article. Like send him a clip of it and just show him like so you can see the name.
Yeah.
And then I want to see like his reaction on there. Be like,
Yeah.
Hey, did you read that
Well,
article?
what I'll do is we have a chat because we actually do our podcast remotely, which, you know, it sounds pretty good for what it is, but I'll type it in our chat so I can see it and be like, can you pronounce that name for me?
Yeah,
And see what he says.
we'll see. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this year that was actually one of my goals too. So not a resolution, but a goal.
Okay, we're bowling 300.
No, I said I kind of want to do that.
That's a goal. You said it here. You said it. You said it.
No, I didn't say I was going to do it.
Yeah. Nope.
I said that'd
We're
be
gonna
kind
hold
of
you
cool.
to it.
That would be kind of cool.
Everyone comment in this podcast episode 300, please.
I mean, if we get enough comments, I'll go. I'll be out
I mean,
the
you could just
bowling
play.
alley
You could
tomorrow.
just play it by sheer statistics, and if you bowl a million games, you got to have one that's 300, right? It's got to come out that way.
Yeah.
So just get to bowling.
So if I do that, then I'm not gonna be golfing.
We got to get that in before spring.
Nah, true.
Yeah. You got 3 months.
3 months to do it. No, one of my goals is to have. So we're gonna have guests, but you know, being here in our area, unless people are in town visiting and stuff like that.
Right.
And obviously, if I could catch those people when they're in town, then that'd be great. But a lot of times they're here for a reason and they're busy and stuff like that. So one of my goals is to start having like what you guys do, like a remote podcast with people.
Okay. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know who we use for that.
Yeah.
No shout out to them since they're not sponsoring me. But the service is great.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't tell that we're in two different places.
Yeah, and
And it
when
sounds
you-
really clean too.
yeah, and I've seen your guys' video stuff from past,
Oh yeah.
and it looked fine. So yeah,
it's pretty
so that's the reason I was like, dude, I need to start just hitting more people up.
Yeah.
Because I was just kind of stuck on I need to do the people around here. And I'm like, but why? When I know certain people are like in Texas
Right.
that have a
No, it
pretty
makes
big,
it super easy.
yeah, pretty big name, they got some really cool stuff going on, business people and all that. And I think like our viewers would appreciate those conversations and interviews and stuff like that. And I'm like, why am I not going to do it just because I'm not there or we can't
Right,
travel there?
right.
So
No, I think the technology's there to where you don't have to worry about it. It's just I mean, whenever I see podcast interviews and they're like on Zoom, it's always like disgusting. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't watch this.
Yeah.
Not that, not that I expect greatness, but the lag is just too much. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. So yeah, that service that we use is I don't know how they do it, but it's great.
I mean, there's other services too
Well, sure.
that do it just like them, but yeah, you have that one, so we could do that.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? Like as opposed to Zoom or whatever.
Zoom was created.
I love it when we do
for,
like Zoom meetings, like for my work, for my primary job, because it's always like there's always like this stutter, and they're just kind of talking over. I'm like, I'm like, okay, who's gonna get pissed here? Let's go.
Yeah. No, Zoom was created for the pandemic,
Yeah, pretty much. That's
It's,
the only time it became a huge thing.
not the pandemic no more.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
You see Fauci just recently
I did see that today.
admitted the 6 foot rule was
No.
nonsense.
No, I saw that he went up, I think today or yesterday, he, for the first time since like retiring from whatever he did, he went to the Supreme Court to meet with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the comments, feel free to tell me I'm wrong because I haven't been able to check the source on this yet. But apparently, in one of his just recent testimonies, he came out and basically said the science behind the 6 foot rule, it was none.
Yeah.
So they just kind of it's just like everything else that fucking came about.
Dude, the science behind
The
everything.
mask. Oh wait, it turns out the particles,
Staying indoors.
vaccines, their efficiency or effectiveness apparently, suddenly is almost non-existent. Whatever it is, I don't know, 60%, which is okay, but it's not the 99% we were originally told.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I got COVID twice. My wife got it 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like you guys had it every other week. For a minute there, I was like, what?
And supposedly like Hispanic males
Yeah.
were more prone to like comorbidities and dying from COVID and all that. I got it twice. I mean, yeah, I got sick, but
Right.
And I didn't get no vaccine or nothing, and I didn't die.
Yeah, I think they can't concluded, and especially like the like black people got it worse because their body doesn't absorb vitamin D the same way. And I think that's kind of like, because at one point they were trying to make it a, equitable issue or something. It's like, well, what are you going to do? I don't know. Take vitamin D over the counter?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of things, but yeah, they really messed that up, and hopefully it's a learning. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people pissed off.
Right.
And there are people that died from it and died not maybe necessarily from that, but other things going around because of that. So I know there's a lot of stuff, but at the same time, I hope we learn from it.
Yeah.
So, because this will happen again.
Eventually,
something
yeah.
like this.
I mean, it could be. At one time, remember they were predicting that, viruses like these outbreaks are going to become the norm because I don't know, whatever statistics they were looking at. Well, one of the most dangerous things that came out of all this is the public trust in the government. It's probably at an all-time low right now.
Yeah.
Like people always question everything now. And even like when the government, was this a botch by the government or was it intentional? Who knows? Whatever. Make your own opinion. It doesn't matter. But the point is overall public health wise, more people more than ever now question the government. So next time there's a problem and the government starts issuing things, even more people are gonna be like, "Well, I'm not gonna do that."
Yeah, exactly.
Regardless if it's good science or not.
Yeah.
So it's like
the boy, the boy who cried wolf, basically. But no, that's good though because now with social media and everything, how it is nowadays, and a lot of people complain about it, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're on your phone and all that kind of shit." But with that being said, a lot more people are woken up. A lot more people are doing their own research, and a lot more people are like, "Hey, I'm watching what I'm putting into my body."
Right.
Like,
and we've never had access to information like we do now.
Dude, never.
Like TikTok, and I honestly think TikTok gave Instagram a huge boost.
Yeah.
Because the content that got on TikTok was not like the content that was on Instagram for a while, and I think it's kind of slowly transitioned to where it's like,
now, everyone wants to do the TikTok thing, so Reels became a thing, and but that's the thing. So now, like, a lot of people I know too, like I'll see like on their stories, they're like eating better and being like, hey, you need to be in the sun and doing all this because they're listening to podcasts or listening to like clips or watching clips and stuff like that. So a lot more people are educating themselves. They're not being like, hey, I just need to go to a doctor.
Right.
Like, I mean, doctors are good.
Right.
Go to the doctor if you're sick and got something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, let's not rely on certain things we've been told since the beginning of time.
Right. What's interesting since we're kind of on that topic is the outbreak of, pardon the pun there with coronavirus, but the outbreak of like how instantaneously we can see a figure in the public eye that just came out of nowhere. Like I'll bring up the name Gary Brecker.
Oh, yeah.
He came out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden, like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, he was just like on Joe Rogan. He was all over TikTok. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, there's a guy, his name's Gary Brecker. He has a company, but basically he was he did something for the
life insurance.
Yeah, he did life insurance for like 20 plus years. And basically his claim to fame was, hey, I've studied death, basically people's medical files for the last 20 years. And these are like, I came across these commonalities of death. and it kind of led him into health on a biological level. And so he has, if you listen, I would suggest anyone go listen to that Joe Rogan thing, because he's one of the few people that'll come up, make a statement and back it up with facts. Now, if anyone's checked into those facts, I don't know, but they all make sense to a lame person, the layman.
Yeah. But he also says he's not a doctor.
Yeah.
He's like, my background is not actual doctor.
Yeah.
You know, for certain things, you need to go to your doctor and then tell them what I tell you.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, so just things like that. And it's funny that you brought that up, because I was just talking to Mike about that, and Pat McAfee, we were talking about him, and he's like, dude, that guy he's on everything. He like blew up. And I'm like, it's just the right person. So I think Dana White kind of blew up Gary Brecka, because
right.
Dana White started.
Like he kind of just threw his name out there and got him on.
Well, Dana White came out and was like, started getting fit, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's asking him what happened. And he was on a podcast or a show or something. And he was like, I went to a doctor and they did some tests or whatever.
Right.
And they basically told me.
Well, he did, it's called genetic methylation test.
Yeah. So they basically told him, if you keep up the lifestyle that you have right now, you only have 10 years to live.
Right.
Dana White's like 52 years old.
Yeah. And supposedly they have the ability to predict the month you'll die in with like a 90% certainty.
Yeah.
Based on what the research that the Gary Brecka, and what I like about him is he says there's hundreds of companies that do the same thing. So you don't need to go into mine.
And other people do it way cheaper. There's a place in Reno that I saw that does it like way cheaper than those tests that I was telling you about. Way cheaper. But anyways, so Dana came out was saying that, and you know, obviously like as a consumer of content, you just watch and you're like, oh damn, that's pretty interesting.
Right. And
then you're like, well, I wonder what he did, because you were like basically only have 10 years to live and you're really shitty, you're all fat and not so good, and then now you're looking shredded, you look great and you have a lot of energy, like what'd you do? And he didn't like necessarily say like what he was doing till later. That's when he started coming out and saying like, yeah, my guy Gary Brecka, all of a sudden that guy's all over TikTok, everything like that.
Yeah, so it's weird.
It's like you need that one
these
push.
Things just kind of come up, because it's almost questionable to me. Like they come out of nowhere so fast, and now like his stuff, like his, you know, maybe it's the algorithm on TikTok pushing him. I don't know, but it just comes out of nowhere, and it almost has me questioning, why am I seeing this?
Yeah,
I've never looked at this shit. Now all of a sudden it's everywhere.
It's like maybe he paid into Dana White.
Yeah, it's like, is he on like a huge marketing campaign right now? And you know, I've heard rumors. I don't know if they're true or not. Because I can't imagine that Joe Rogan would need to charge anyone to come on a show. But I've heard things that it's like, oh, you know, it's like $40,000 to come on a show. But I'm like,
I've heard that too, though.
But maybe I heard it from you. But it's like, I don't think he needs to charge anyone.
Yeah,
people know that hey, Joe Rogan's the place to go if you want to get the word out on your thing to millions of people. And Joe Rogan is on a place where he's just like, these are the people I want to interview. I don't give a shit about the rest of these guys.
Yeah, exactly. But
and he's already making huge bucks from Spotify.
Hey, but that's a good point though, because there is such a thing called like an industry plant. Yeah. And that's big in the music industry, because they say like certain people are industry plants. Like the industry got this person,
like chose
maybe they're good looking.
Yeah.
They got something about them. They put all this marketing, everything into them. And then like their first song comes out and they're like the biggest thing. And you're like, dude, where'd they come from? Like, kind of like an Ice Spice. I don't know if you heard her.
Yeah.
All of a sudden she's out.
That's a name that just came out of nowhere. And I'm like,
and it's like, dude, she's doing songs with Taylor Swift. Like she's like the biggest like black female rap artist at the time. Right. And it's like, where'd she come from? So people say like certain people like that are industry plant. They're planted there by the industry for their gain, obviously, because they're getting money off of them. Right. But also, like, there was a big one on podcast, and now that I'm actually thinking about it, I haven't seen her name or anything about her within the last 3 months.
Wait,
and I
think I know who you're gonna say. The Call Her Daddy chick.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, she's legit. No.
Well, she got big, and then I don't know.
She got big, but her show's still like number 2, number 3 behind Joe Rogan.
Oh, is it
Alex from Call Her Daddy? Yeah. No, she's legit.
Like, they kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but you could see that climb though. And what happened there is like the same thing with Pat McAfee, because Mike said like, dude, who knew like a punter would just become like this biggest like, and I'm like, yeah, because like who he was involved with, Portnoy,
Right,
Dave Portnoy,
right.
Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports pushed him out there. Everyone's like, dude, this guy's hilarious. He's cool. All of a sudden, he's a big dude. Alex, the same thing. Portnoy found Alex and was like, hey, this is cool. Let's put you out there. That whole fan base is so big. Everyone started loving it and it just blew up. And now, like I said, she's top 5 on Spotify.
Wow.
For sure. Behind Joe Rogan.
So who are you talking about?
So I'm talking to Bobby, or I think her name's Bobby Altoff, something like that. She did that. I don't even know what it's called now. So cool podcast. I don't know. But this girl was doing she did one with Drake that blew up. And then people were saying that she had an affair with Drake and they stopped following each other. So yeah, basically she did like one podcast and then her second one was Drake. Her third one was like someone huge. Her fourth one was
So it's almost
Mark
like she
Cuban.
went on the podcast tour where she got
No, but she's the podcast host. She has her own podcast and she's having all these big Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what the hell? How's
like
that
all
happen?
these people. And it's like no one even, and she's a good looking girl, whatever. And her big thing was like, she's just very awkward and like she kind of stole like this guy's whole thing, Funny Marco, where he's just like ask you like ridiculous questions and he sits there and looks at you and the people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's just like,
yeah.
So she's like real awkward like that. And then she's just playing a character, right? But she was like the biggest thing last year. Her podcast like debuted in, number 2 or 3. And it's like, how's that even possible when you're like, no one even knows you? Her TikToks before that were like about breastfeeding, I think, because she just had kids.
Right. Interesting.
And then all of a sudden now your TikTok is about like this podcast and it's the biggest podcast there is. So people were saying that's an interesting plan. And I haven't seen her, like I said, within the last 3 months. So I wonder what happened.
Huh.
So that's the thing sometimes where like you're planted in there. People kind of like, okay, get over it after the big hype.
Someone big in the industry like chose you for whatever reason, and all of a sudden everything's just being pushed on you.
Yeah, and then
to you, I guess.
The consumer's like, yeah, cool, whatever, and then they'll go back to like those traditional shows that they like.
Right.
Like a Joe Rogan, like Theo Vaughn. Those guys like have that big following because they're consistent and they're they're good at what they do.
Right.
So, yeah.
Crazy. I don't know how I got there, but I was talking about Gary Brecka. Why just like industry, how like someone just comes out of nowhere and just like all of a sudden they're everywhere.
I think we were talking about like the whole social media and like just like news and information being out there for everyone now.
Right.
So now everyone can see those type of guys.
Right.
Because if it wasn't for social media, you wouldn't really hear about Gary Brecka.
Right. Very true.
So now like those guys, like they have one viral moment and they take advantage of it and they make the channels and they start putting out more stuff and people follow it. And I know a lot of people that are like super big into him right now. Like everything he says is like gospel, so it's on like Gary Brecka.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Because he's basically, a lot of what he does, and I don't know, a lot of his clips are from like some seminar that he was doing. Who knows? That could be a stage seminar for all I fucking know. I don't know. But a lot of what he says is like he gives examples of like, hey, clinical depression is, and I can spit this off the top of my head because it's interesting to me. But clinical depression is your serotonin levels are low, and what SSRIs or antidepressant medication do? What do? You take SSRIs and it spreads out the serotonin to more receptors. It kind of like inhibits the how much a receptor can take and pushes it out to more receptors instead of the medical field trying to just bring serotonin levels up. It's like that's why people will stay on antidepressants for their life instead of just taking 3 to 4 weeks to get those serotonin levels back up, and all of a sudden all their symptoms are gone. Yeah. And so that's kind of like the kind of stuff that he's talking about. It's like, holy shit. Yeah. I mean, everyone is always demonizing big pharma anyway. Yeah. But he's just kind of like, here's what's actually going on when this stuff happens.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw, there was a guy on Joe Rogan, which has like a pharmacy or something like that. His own like type of pharmacy that you can get supplements and everything from. But he was talking about big pharma and basically their job is to, keep you on the medication. Obviously.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, they have, conflicting interests there with shareholders and whatnot.
So you start looking at that stuff. You start looking at like that information, and then you start looking at what this guy's saying. And you're like, that sounds really nice to me.
Yeah.
And that might be just a thing where like he knows that.
Yeah.
and it's not true. Like, who knows? But the thing is, like, do your own research and, you know, follow the people you want to follow and look at both sides though. Don't just look at the one side because it sounds nice.
Right.
And that's where you're going to get the best research for yourself. And I think nowadays we have the opportunity to do that. So that's what's really cool.
You know what else is fun? I don't know if you've come across this, but along the lines of social media is recently I've noticed that there's a lot of new, it's not recently, it's been over the last, since COVID essentially, but there's been a lot of news outlets that have popped up that are solely social media based.
Yeah.
And they all cover stories that the regular media won't cover,
Mhm.
you know, because it's like bad for whatever it is, you know, if it's Fox or CNN or whatever, just things that aren't getting
For
covered.
advertising money. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, holy shit. So, I mean, that's along the same lines of this is information that we typically aren't privy to unless you're really looking at the tabloids or something.
And I think that's the thing. That's the time because that's exactly what I was thinking like a couple of days ago. It's just like the Daily Wire. That's why it's so big right now.
Yeah.
Because people can go in there thinking that they're going to get like the best non-biased
Right.
news or whatever and stuff like that. But even then, sometimes like Ben Shapiro's super biased towards the stuff that's going on with Hamas and
Oh, right.
you know, all that kind of stuff but I'm not that I'm saying that it's wrong or right, whatever. I don't really look into it that much, but I'm just saying like people go to those news sources now instead of like a New York Times or whatever, because we kind of see how they are. So now is the time for like the independent news to come up and hopefully make a name for themselves and stay loyal.
Like there's a couple of really funny guys that are reporting the news now. And he's like, I don't know, his sign off every night, every video is like, follow me if you give a shit, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, just stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know if this is a great news source, but that's entertaining.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, once the ad money comes in, people change.
Yeah.
So hopefully people stay true to themselves like us. We get no ad money.
Yeah. Nothing. Zero. I'm not even sponsored by this drink. Take that off.
Yeah, get that out of here. All right, well, we're over our time, so
yeah, we're at an hour 12. Let's wrap it up. Mike, come back, baby, come back.
Yeah, thank you for stepping in and doing the podcast with me.
My pleasure. Always fun.
Yeah, so we'll have some guests coming on soon. I kind of want to bring one next week, but I'll talk to Mike just because you know he probably has a lot to talk about. He hasn't been on for 2 weeks, so
yeah, get some funny car talk going.
Yeah, so
what'd you call them? The midgets?
Midget cars, I think they're called. That's just what the cars like to be called. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't say that wrong.
You know, that's their pronouns. I don't know. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for hanging with the boys. My name's Jorge. This is Dave.
Thanks, guys.
Check us out on all our social medias at theboys_pod. Our website, theboyspod.com. YouTube, Spotify.
Go follow them. Subscribe on YouTube, please.
Yeah, everywhere.
Let's do it.
Check us out, and we'll see you next week.